Alright, hello guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be talking about that snowstorm that we were talking about yesterday. We have a little bit more of a better view of what's going on, so we're going to have some more details on that, especially for the northeastern United States, which is going to be very exciting. Now, before we get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends and family if they live in the affected regions. Let's get right into things. First things first, we're looking at our storm track map here, and you can see we're starting things out in Ohio. The very western portion of this storm looks to be significantly less snow than expected, almost nothing, maybe snow showers at best. But in Ohio and Michigan, we will get a little bit of snow, and then as we head eastward, more and more. Now, this one looks to, again, be coming from Ohio through Pennsylvania and then kind of transfer out to south of Long Island and offshore of New Jersey and then be kind of out to sea from that point. But this does have good potential to bring snowfall to the coast, especially southern New England and northern New Jersey, including New York City, as well there is in some areas of Massachusetts, including Boston. So we have some big cities involved with this one. Definitely some potential for a good snowstorm here, but this one could be much further north, much further south. There still is a lot of uncertainty as we're still 2 days away from the start of this one. So be sure to keep up to date with our videos that we upload as we're going to be continuing to track this storm. Now let's add our first layer here to this map, and you can see we have some snow expected for all of these blue regions. This means you'll probably see some flakes if you live in here, and we're about to add our two next layers, which is going to show you where we could expect major impacts with this storm, so stay tuned. Alright, so for our second layer here, you can see this is our chance for major snowstorm, and this is going to be the area where I expect the most snowfall will set up within this. It could be a bit further north. The GFS is kind of flirting with the idea that we could see some heavier snowfall for the Adirondacks, Green Mountains, White Mountains, and then maybe in through Maine. But definitely the European model has it much further south here for southern New England, and down through Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York City, areas like that, and Long Island. So I think that I'm going to keep it right in between those for the chance of major snowstorm, but it definitely could be a little bit further north than what this is showing. And then we have a third layer here, and this is where I think the best chance for a major snowstorm is. I could definitely see this one trending in the direction of more and more snow for this area, but also, again, there is a bit of uncertainty with this one as the models are not doing a good job of coming together and agreeing upon something. So I think there's a good chance also that we completely see the chances for a snowstorm in southern New England, at least in the northeast there in New Jersey, New York City, completely go away, and we see that chance go much further north. So we're going to have to continue to update you guys on this storm, obviously, which I'm going to do over the next 2 days. I plan on just continuing to cover this storm, so rest assured. Now, we're about to get into our simulated radar from the European model and the GFS model, where we're going to be able to take a good look at where we expect that heaviest snow to show up and why we think this storm track is going to look like this. Alright, so we're starting things out on the European model. This is going to be about 5 a.m. on Saturday, January 4th on our European model. And you can see we basically just have rain going on for the southeastern and portions of the northeastern United States here. As we move on towards about, I would say, 8 p.m. on Saturday, January 4th still, we see that snow really start up for Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York especially. We do see snow showers in Indiana and Michigan, like I said, but nothing really accumulating there. Kentucky, some of the mountains there in the Smokies and Appalachian Mountains there. We do see some snowfall starting up, but really the most snowfall is located over Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York State there. We're going to move on one more frame, and now we're going to take a very zoomed in look at the northeastern United States because all of the snow is located within this area by this point. We do see some moderate snow there for the mountains of West Virginia and Pennsylvania, but again, most of the snowfall is located over Pennsylvania, New York, in through Massachusetts and Vermont. By this point, we see very heavy snowfall going on for the Finger Lakes regions by this point, but notice our low pressure system is a 987 millibar low pressure system just offshore of New Jersey there, and that's a good location for snowfall to start up for southern New England. That's just far enough offshore to where we shouldn't see any mixing issues. We just don't have enough cold air in place, and that's going to be by about 2 a.m. on Sunday, January 5th. Let's move on another frame here, and you can see things shift further south as we move into about 8 a.m. on Sunday, January 5th. We see very heavy snowfall through Delaware, actually, and Maryland. This is a much further south look than what we've seen, and we also see eastern Pennsylvania there in that moderate snowfall, as well as all of southern New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, most of Massachusetts there, and then southern Vermont and New Hampshire. This is a very interesting turn of events during this storm, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how this one trends, to see if we actually see a New York up through Connecticut and then to Boston snowstorm, maybe even DC to Boston. I know that's far-fetched because this is the only model showing snowfall this far south, but it is interesting to see it showing this, and really we typically see the European model do the best. So we'll have to continue and track this storm. We're about to move on further into the radar run and just take a look at if this snowfall continues to fall heavily over the next few hours in these regions. All right, as you can see, this is going to be by about, I would say this is about 1 p.m. on Sunday, January 5th, and that low pressure system is located pretty far offshore of New Jersey and Long Island by this point. And we see that heaviest snowfall is still from Delaware up through New Jersey into New York City, then up through into Connecticut, Rhode Island, and up through Boston and most of Massachusetts. So that looks to be where the heaviest snow is on the European model right now, and that's basically why I said that's the best chance for a major snowstorm, because I could see this storm really trending in this direction, and we could see 10 inches plus for this whole New York to Boston region, but it could also trend in a bad direction where we don't really see chances at that moving forward. So again, that's why it's important that we continue to track this one. Let's move on another frame here, and this is going to be by about 4 p.m. on January 5th here, and we see that heaviest snow is moving away from New Jersey and New York City by this point, but we see eastern Massachusetts and the very eastern portions of Long Island there, as well as Connecticut and Rhode Island, seeing that heavy snow still. So you can tell that there's going to be a lot of accumulation in this area once we look at the total snowfall map. Just heavy snow falling over the next few hours on Sunday there. And then by Monday, we see this storm is basically moved out. There's going to be Sunday night. Actually, this is going to be Sunday night around 8 p.m., not quite Monday yet, but heading into Monday, it's basically said and done. Now, I did want to answer one question. I had people asking, is this going to affect the Patriots-Titans playoff game? And no, actually, this is going to be hitting a day later, because I was thinking it would be so cool to see a snowfall game for that playoff game. That would certainly ensure that the Patriots win, as typically they play good in the snow, but it's actually going to be a Saturday night game, that playoff game, or I think it's either a Saturday afternoon or evening game, and that game is going to be before the snowfall arrives. So let's take a look at our GFS model now, and it's much further north and really just not major whatsoever. This is going to be about 4 p.m. on January 4th, Saturday, and you can see nothing really going on. We see snow showers from Michigan and Ohio, but not much besides that. Let's move on another frame, and you can see it's just much further north than what we saw. It's already moved off of New Jersey, but now it's on Long Island, basically as a 996 millibar low pressure system, and again, it's flirting with the Adirondacks through Vermont and New Hampshire, getting the most snowfall here. And then as we head towards 8 a.m. on Sunday, we see a lot of Maine, Vermont, and New Hampshire getting a lot of action here, but nowhere near Connecticut, Rhode Island, or New York City, or even Boston for that matter here. So big difference between these two models, and that's why it's really crucial that we continue to track this one. And then you can see here by time we're at 8 p.m. on Sunday, it's all said and done there. Now we're about to get into our total snowfall forecast on all of these models, which is going to be very exciting to take a look at to see how much snow we could expect on these models. I'm especially excited to take a look at the European model with you guys. All right, so as you can see here, this is our GFS model first off, and we have in the purples, we see about 3 to 6 inches of snow, and then in the pinks, it's about 6 to 12 inches of snow. So we see some purples and pinks there for West Virginia, and then a lot of upstate New York and western New York there, but mostly Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine getting those 6-inch plus amounts there. And again, that was quite apparent on the simulated radar. Now, as we take a look at our Canadian model, because you guys are probably wondering, why hasn't he showed the Canadian model? Well, it just keeps it so far south that it doesn't even bring any snow to anywhere, really. As you can see, here is the snowiest frame on the entire Canadian run, and it shows nothing. So we see the Canadian model is way further south than any of them. The GFS is way further north, and then the European is right in the middle. So this is the complications that we have in it's only 2 days out. We have this much uncertainty with the model, so this is why it's so important that you guys just continue to stay updated with the latest information, because we have a lot of uncertainty here, guys, so far. Now, last but not least, here's our European model, which I'm very excited to take a look at with you guys. In the blues, that's 6 inches or less there, so we see a lot of those darker blues in northern Pennsylvania, through New York, into obviously New Jersey, Long Island, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and then southern Vermont and New Hampshire as well. We're all looking at about 4 to 6 inches of snow. In those purple colors, we're at 6 to about 8 inches of snow, I would say. So for a lot of western New York and through areas near Albany, then we see areas just to the north of New York City as well, through Connecticut into Massachusetts as well. All those areas expecting 6 to 8 inches of snow. And then in our more pinkish colors, that's where we're looking at about 9 to 12 inches of snow. So we see some of that popping up for western New York and through, again, near Albany, and then some areas in between Connecticut and Massachusetts. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please stay up to date with this information because I'd hate for you guys to not be quite sure of what's going to happen and then be surprised by it. So continue to watch and track this storm with us, and we'll try to bring the most accurate information as the models get a much better idea of what to expect. Anyway, again, be sure to share it with your friends and family, and I'll see you guys in the next video.